Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Canadian Car Review Show. So today we have a 2015 Jeep Cherokee. It's the North Edition. So it comes with relatively a decent package. And we're going to be doing a test drive review on the actual performance of the vehicle. I've been driving it for a couple of days now, and I'm actually quite surprised in the quality in the interior finishing and the mechanical drivetrain itself. So again, this car is equipped with the North Edition, so that comes with the 2.4 liter Tiger Shark 4-cylinder engine. Now I've reviewed this same actual engine in the Dodge Dart, but what's different about this actual particular model is it comes with the 9-speed automatic transmission that Chrysler has introduced for 2014 and 2015. Now in terms of fuel economy, I'm averaging in the city 9.8 liters per 100 kilometers. And on the highway, if I'm doing about 110 kilometers an hour, I can average 8 liters per 100 kilometers. If you bring that speed down to 100 kilometers an hour, you can actually bring it down into the high 7 liters per 100 kilometers. Now I found that to be quite impressive, since this does have a four-wheel drive system that can be used. And this particular model, you can get this vehicle in the 2x4 model if you would opt for it. But this one actually has the four-wheel drive select-to-track terrain system. So it has auto, snow, sport, sand, and mud to give me a little bit more performance and traction when demanded. Now in terms of interior quality finishing, Jeep has really stepped up the game in the Cherokee, and I can see why this vehicle has won many awards in its class, because quite frankly, the interior finishing, the road noise, the compliance of the ride is actually a very, very high bar, or grade, I should say, compared to smaller compact SUVs in the market. Its competitors would be the Hyundai Tucson, I would say maybe the Ford Escape, the new Ford Escape, the Chevy Trax. Actually, Chevy Trax is probably a lot smaller than this vehicle. Let's get into the Equinox maybe. But with regards to the actual interior finishing, I mean, it's relatively nice. This vehicle can be equipped with the 8.4-inch Uconnect. Now the vehicle I have just has the small little 4-inch or 4.5-inch LCD display, but it is touchscreen. It still has a Uconnect function, and I still have my driver's gauge console as a TFT screen that gives me my fuel economy averages, my basic check engine lights, tire pressuring monitoring system, coolant temperature, fuel gauge. So it still gives me all the functions that you would normally get in the full-size luxury package of the vehicle. Now the override road clearance, this is not the trail-rated version. If you are looking to do some off-roading, I would probably suggest you to invest your money and time into the Trailhawk. And again, the 2.4 liter is more of a city and highway economy engine with the 9-speed transmission. Now, if you are going to be doing a lot of off-road trailing, I would probably suggest you to, again, take a look at the V6 Pentastar motor, and that's just because it has a lot more power and a little bit more torque to give you that climbing capabilities if you do choose to go off-roading. Now, the vehicle that I'm reviewing right now does have dual climate control. It's got cloth seats that are fairly comfortable. Now, if you are a larger person, such as myself here, 6'1", you'll notice, and if you have longer legs, the seating is a little bit small. There's not so much support. I mean, it's excellent support, but it's not adequate for long distance road trips. So you might want to invest in getting the sport seats or the luxury seats if you are looking to purchase this vehicle. Now, Chrysler does offer a lot of trim packages, so I would suggest you to go through each trim and decide what you would prefer in a vehicle. Now, again, I have the North Edition, and just to give you guys a heads up on the interior finishing, you have soft touch materials everywhere. Okay, the center armrest area for the doors is wrapped in leather, and the upper portion of the door trim is wrapped in a soft touch material. Now you do have the harder plastics on the lower portion of the door, and that kind of gives it its rugged feel as a Jeep. And again, the dash is a one-piece design that has soft touch materials, and you do have a compartment in the center, which is mostly traditional for Jeeps. and that's just a compartment to store your sunglasses or your iPhone or Android devices. Now, in terms of the entertainment system and the build quality in the interior, it's actually very strong in my opinion. Like, the headliner doesn't rattle, it seems very firm to the supporting roof. The front pillars in the vehicle are relatively a decent size, so your blind spots are very minimal in the vehicle. This car, the one I'm test driving right now, does not have a rear backup camera, and that's because of the smaller display. I would highly recommend, especially if you have children, is to get the backup camera and an upgrade to the Uconnect system, just to give you the front and rear collision warning system. Now, you do have your basic amenities. You have your SD card reader, USB, auxiliary ports, 12 volt adapter, traction control, ABS, cruise control, voice recognition, Bluetooth. You have phone connectivity, all the amenities that you would find in most cars in its price range. And for the most part, like I said, it's the fit and finish that really sells this vehicle. Like, when you come inside the vehicle itself, even though you don't have the limited or the top of the line model or even a Trailhawk, you feel that the ride quality and the vehicle itself is very compliant, and you're actually getting a very good vehicle for its price range. Now, in terms of performance, again, the 2.4 liter Tiger Shark engine is nothing to be impressed upon. I mean, it's not a 500 horsepower motor or anything like that, but it does have a lot of pickup. And what I like about this motor is that Fiat has included the multi-air injection technology system that they have in the 1.4, and you really notice it when you start high revving. Now, again, this is a naturally aspirated engine, but again, it does have a lot of top-end power, just like I experienced with the Dodge Dart. And based on the weight of the vehicle, the 2.4 liter is more than adequate to move the actual vehicle. It's not sluggish, and if you are looking for a 4-cylinder entry-level CUV, I would highly recommend this platform. Another fascinating thing about the vehicle is that it has the 9-speed automatic transmission. And what's great about this is that for a 4-cylinder engine, this actual engine never wants to really rev very high. So even on the highway, right now we're doing 85 kilometers an hour. I'm revving just over 1500 RPM, and I'm in 7th gear. So I still have 2 more gears to hit in terms of getting into the fuel economy range at higher speeds. So you can definitely travel at higher speeds and still achieve excellent fuel economy rating. Now, again, I mentioned that there is a select track terrain system, and that allows you to, adjust from sand to mud to sport and snow. And again, it just changes the transmission parameters, livens up the 4-wheel drive system or the all-wheel drive system that's part of the vehicle itself, and it just improves the overall efficiency of the actual system. Now, keep in mind, having it in the auto is probably your best bet when you're just doing, regular driving on the highway. And that just keeps the 4-wheel drive system in its most efficient manner. So most of the time it's driving just front-wheel drive. Now, in terms of passing power on the highway, I'm barely pressing the accelerator to merge into lanes. But if you did have to do an emergency acceleration because of an accident in front of you, you can easily do it. I'll demonstrate it to you in a second. So right now I'm doing just under 100 kilometers an hour. Some distance here. So again, if you have to do an emergency, this is me punching at wide open throttle. And there's that multi-air system I'm talking about. It revved well past 6,000 RPM, and it had more than enough power to merge into the next lane. So again, the 4-cylinder engine, Tiger Shark engine, is not a slouch. It has tons of power. Depending on what gear you're in, it likes to hang in the gear a little bit longer. But once it gets into its correct engine speed, it actually picks up speed very easily. So, again, the Tiger Shark engine's adequate for its size of the vehicle, and it can handle traveling at higher speeds if required. Now, again, getting back into the fuel economy numbers, as I mentioned earlier, again, traveling at 110 kilometers an hour, I'm under 2,000 RPM. I'm actually sitting around 1,800 RPM. And if I threw this into cruise control, I can definitely achieve a number of 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers. Again, bringing that number back down to 100 kilometers, the best I've achieved is 7.8 liters per 100 kilometers. And it's fairly accurate because my fuel range hasn't changed much since I've actually attained the vehicle. Now, in terms of the entertainment system, you do have a decent sound system. This vehicle comes with a 9-speaker sound system. Now, it's nothing to be mesmerized with. It's not that great, but you do have the option of getting an upgraded Bose surround sound system if you go into the higher trim levels. Now, in terms of the functionality of the miniaturized Uconnect system, it's very intuitive. It's very easy to use. You have your basic functions on the dash here for your radio, media, phone connectivity, compass, climate control, and the different modes of your radio system. Again, it's also a touchscreen system, so you can use the touchscreen functions just like you would in a normal 8.4 Uconnect system, or even in the Dodge Journey that I just reviewed with the larger system. What's interesting to note is it also comes with some interesting features that you wouldn't expect in this class level. So to give you an example is you have an electronic parking brake that engages, and again, you get the selective track terrain system that you normally don't find on smaller compact CUVs. It's mostly an electronic all-wheel drive system that kind of leaves you with either driving with the all-wheel drive system, and depending on what kind of manufacturing brand you go with, sometimes manufacturers will give you the all-wheel drive lock feature, which will lock the all-wheel drive system. But this vehicle actually has 4 different driving modes that you can change into at any time. You still get your basic traction control system that you can turn on and off in case you want a little bit of that slip in the traction control system. But really, I don't see the use of it in the vehicle. Just due to the actual nature of it. It's very compliant. You don't really have a hesitation on acceleration in slippery conditions, and for the most part it just wants to stay in that awesome cruising speed on the highway and try to gain as much fuel efficiency as possible for the driver. Now, in terms of the rear cargo capacity, the hatch is a fairly small sized hatch for the vehicle. However, you can still fit small end tables. I've already moved a small end table, and what's great about the Jeep is they have tons of cargo clips that you can connect straps to accommodate for larger packages. Now, the rear seats fold down completely 90 degrees, and they also have a 60/40 pass with a center pass as well. In terms of driving, I've had the vehicle for a couple of days, and overall I'm pretty happy with the actual quality and the feel of the vehicle. Like I said, my only complaint, because I'm a fairly large person, is the seat. So if I was to purchase this vehicle, I would definitely get the premium seats just because they're a little bit better, a little bit more supportive. The backrests on these seats are actually fantastic, even in the basic seating arrangement. It's the lower portion that really concerns me. And again, if you are looking into the market for this vehicle, I would highly suggest you get a feel of the seat before you purchase the vehicle, because you may not like the actual seating arrangement. Now, in terms of space for the driver, again, I'm 6'1", and I can completely stretch my foot or my feet beyond the pedals, so it's got tons of leg space. You'll never cramp up in this vehicle. Can definitely be driven on a long road trip. And again, because the ride is so compliant, it absorbs every bump in the road. It's not a rough suspension. It's got, very good struts that absorb all the impact of the highway and all the potholes and stuff. Very smooth, compliant ride. And the road noise is actually fairly minimal in this vehicle, just due to that, the actual design of the vehicle. Now, the Cherokee has interesting exterior features, especially the front end. It takes a little bit to get used to. But driving at night, I can tell you, hands down, that having the headlights in the lower bumper really helps road visibility. It's just like having headlights in a car. It actually stays focused and it actually brightens up the road a lot better. instead of having the headlights higher up in the nose. Another thing I wanted to bring out to everybody's attention is that the override height clearance of the vehicle. So if you are looking for a trail-rated vehicle, I would highly recommend you go with the Trailhawk, because for a smaller SUV size, the Cherokee is probably the best bang for your buck in terms of road clearances, unless if you're going to go for a Jeep Renegade or a Wrangler or any other trail-rated product that Jeep has to offer. So to finish up on the review, I just want to put some final points. Again, the key selling feature of this vehicle is the interior. Go check out this vehicle, because for the actual price range, it's probably one of the best interiors I've seen. Again, for the cost of the actual vehicle itself. You got a very good drivetrain. The 2.4 liter Tiger Shark has impressed me in both the Dodge Dart and now the Jeep Cherokee. And the 9-speed transmission seems to be proving itself very well, especially when you're at highway speeds. The fuel economy really shows in the vehicle, as long as you're not hard on the accelerator. Please subscribe to our channel for more reviews. Thanks for watching.